Hello everyone, this is teacher Marwan. Today we are going to continue with the present simple, present perfect tense, and present progressive continuous. There are some examples on the present simple in the positive form. The sun sets in the west. We produce lasers for cosmetic surgery. They move into their new home next week. So I go to Mr. David and say, I deserve a better mark in the class. Johns stops in mid-court and passes the ball to Shuster. I always study hard for exams. Do you usually speak to him like that? Ben goes to football practice every Tuesday. In general, I believe that all people can live in peace. Do you go to the supermarket every week? Now we're going to talk about some negative form in the present simple. I don't like the food they serve at that restaurant. Jim doesn't work on Fridays. My friends don't usually leave so early. I do not want to go with you. Here are some yes and no questions. Do you surf the internet every day? Does your boss give you positive feedback? Does Jonathan always turn off the lights? Don't you ever clean your room? WH questions. When do you want to meet me? Why does Beth always complain so much? How much does the ticket cost? Why don't you ever go on a vacation? Here are some tag questions. John likes me, doesn't he? All those girls speak French, don't they? Keisha doesn't speak Spanish, does she? Those boys don't play sports, do they? Here are some present perfect tense and examples. The present perfect tense combines the present tense and the perfect aspect used to express an event that happened in the past that has present consequences. This tense is used to show a link between the present and past and is commonly used in everyday conversations, in the news, on the radio, and when writing letters. Using present perfect tense. To create the present perfect tense of any verb, you will combine the present tense of the verb to have plus the past participle of the main verb of the sentence. The past participle of a regular verb is the base word plus ed. You can find a list of the past participle of irregular verbs here. One example of this tense is have jumped. Have is the present tense and jumped is the past participle. Some other forms of this tense are has lived. She has lived here all her life. Have written. They have written 3 letters already. Have worked. I have worked here since I graduated from high school. Has done. He has finished his homework. Have been. We have been to Canada. Has forgotten. She has forgotten her folder. There are many different situations where the present perfect tense can be used. It can be used in the following ways. To describe an action that is being repeated between the past and present. Example, we have gone to the beach many times. To describe an action that started in the past and is still continuing in the future. Example, I have lived in the United States since 1978. To describe an action that has not yet been finished. Example, it has rained a lot this month. To describe an action that was completed in the recent past. Example, I have just finished my internship at the museum. To describe an action when time was not an important aspect. Example: she has lost her wedding ring. There are times when you cannot use the present perfect tense. For example, you cannot use it with specific expressions of time that have already finished, such as last year, last month, when I was a baby, etc. Example of present perfect tense. Present perfect tense can be used with expressions that are unspecific in time. I have lost my purse. We have seen this movie already. He has broken his leg. There has been an accident. Some examples of present perfect tense used to express an unfinished period of time, which are: we haven't seen her today. They have been to the mail twice this month. She has watched that show 3 times this week. Examples of using present perfect in talking about events that happened in the recent past, but the effect of the recent event is still felt in the present, include: the children have made a mess in the kitchen. He has started a new job. She has finished her course. Present perfect tense can be used in questions as well. Here are some examples. Where have I left my sandals? Have you visited England? Has she met John? Other combinations of words. In addition, you can use time-related adverbs in the present perfect tense, as long as they don't refer to a time which is finished. These words include already, just, and yet. Some examples of how these words are used are: the book came out yesterday, but I have already read it. Already is used to express that something has happened sooner than expected. She has just left the building. So just is used to convey that the event happened a short time ago. He hasn't finished it yet. Yet is used in a negative sentence to mean that something is expected to happen. Present perfect tense can also be used in questions using the words already and yet. For examples: why has he gone already? Have you called your mom yet? Has Anthony played basketball yet? The importance of present perfect tense. The present perfect tense is used when talking about experiences from the past, a change or a situation that has happened in the past but is still continuing today. This tense is an important part of English grammar since it demonstrates that actions or events in the past have an effect on the present situation. Present progressive tense. Verbing. Present participle. We add ing to most verbs. Example: play, playing; cry, crying; bark, barking. We only add ing to the end. For verbs that end in e, we remove the e and add ing. Example: slide, we change it to sliding; ride, riding. For verbs that end in ie, we change the ie to y and add ing. Example: die, dying; tie, tying. For a verb whose last syllable is written with a consonant-vowel consonant and is stressed, double the last letter before adding ing. Example: beg, we change it to begging with the double g-ing. Begin, beginning, also with double n-ing. However, enter, it will stay the same, entering, because the last syllable is not stressed. The present progressive tense is often overused by non-native speakers of English. It should only be used in the following contexts: to describe an incomplete action which is in progress at that moment, usually with time expressions such as now, at the moment, and right now. During a phone call or in an email, we are discussing the project at the moment. To describe a plan or arrangement in the near future, usually with time expressions such as tonight, tomorrow, this week, this Monday. Another example. Jim's leaving for Brussels this evening. To express actions that are repeated regularly, usually with a negative meaning and with the time expressions always or forever. Her husband is always complaining about his health. Note, a common mistake is using this form to describe what a company sells or produces in general. A company sells something on a regular basis, so we need to use the present simple tense and not the present progressive. So it is incorrect to say we are producing high-end plastic pipes. However, it is a correct sentence to say we produce high-end plastic pipes. And it is also correct to say that company is always selling some cheap gadget, in the negative meaning. The present progressive continuous is formed using am, is, or are together with the ing, the present participle form of the verb. Examples. I am taking my final exam tomorrow. So I is the subject. Am taking is the form of be plus verbing, present participle. And the rest of the sentence is my final exam tomorrow. Another example. He is sweeping the floor at the moment. He is the subject. Is sweeping is the form of be plus verbing, the present participle. The floor at the moment is the rest of sentence. Another example. You are giving me a headache. The subject is you, a form of be plus verbing, present participle, are giving, and the rest of the sentence, me a headache. Contractions in the present progressive continuous. In general, we contract or shorten the subject, the person or thing doing the action, and form of be. Like I am, I'm going to the store in about 10 minutes. He is, we shorten it to his with the apostrophe s. And she is, we shorten it to she's with apostrophe s. It is, we change it to its with the apostrophe. It's raining cats and dogs. We are, we're, you are, you're, they are, they are, we are catching the 9 o'clock flight. Save the long forms for when you want to create emphasis. You are not going out tonight. When speaking, you should stress the not negatives in the present progressive continuous. Spelling tip. When shortening a form of be and negative, just remove the o in not and add an apostrophe. Is not, isn't, are not, aren't. The negative in the present progressive tense is created using am not, is not, or are not, together with the ing from present participle of the verb. Examples. I am not working on that project now. So the subject is I. The form of be plus verbing, am not working. And the rest of the sentence is on that project now. He is not sleeping at the moment. The subject is he. The form of be plus verbing isn't sleeping. The rest of the sentence is at the moment. You aren't running in the marathon tomorrow. You is the subject. A form of be plus verbing is aren't running, and the rest of the sentence is in the marathon tomorrow. Note, in general, use these contractions in the negative. Isn't, aren't, am not, cannot be shortened, but you can say I'm not. Save the long forms for when you want to create emphasis, such as I'm not listening to you. Roger isn't eating with us tonight. The Smiths aren't going to France this year. They're going to Thailand. He is not coming with me. Dressed like that. Yes or no questions in the present progressive continuous. To ask a question that will be answered with either a yes or no, start with am, is or are, then choose your subject, the person or thing doing the action, followed by the ing, present participle, form of the verb, and then the rest of your question. Example. Am I making myself clear? The form of be is am. The subject is I. The verbing is making. The rest of the sentence is myself clear. Is he shaking right now? The form of be is. The subject he. The verbing shaking. Rest of the sentence right now. Another example. Are you buying steaks for dinner tomorrow? So the form of be is are, the subject is you, the verbing is buying, and the rest of the sentence is steak for dinner tomorrow. Am I talking too much? Is that your dog barking? Are you participating in the competition next week? WH questions in the present progressive. WH questions are questions that require more information in their answers. Typical WH words are what, where, when, which, why, who, how many, and how much. To create a WH question, start with WH word, then add am, is or are, then the subject, a person or thing that is doing the action, followed by the ing, present participle form of the verb, and only then add the rest of the sentence. Examples. Who am I meeting with today? Who is the WH word, a form of be is am, the subject, I, the verbing, meeting, rest of the sentence, with today. What is he doing right now? What is the WH word? The form of be is, subject is he, verbing is doing, rest of the sentence is right now. When are you choosing the colors for the room? When is the WH word, or is the form of be, subject is you, choosing is the verbing, and the rest of the sentence is the colors for the room. Which route are you taking to the conference this week? Why is she bleeding? Who am I sending to the meeting? Tag questions in the present progressive. Tag questions are those short questions that are tagged onto the end of a sentence. They are used just to make sure the person you are talking to understood what you meant or to emphasize what you said. They are formed by using a positive sentence in the present progressive and adding isn't or aren't and a pronoun. I, you, we, they, he, she, or it, and a question mark. For sentences in the first person, I, use the tag aren't I. Examples. Terry is driving to the post office, isn't she? All the kids in the class are going on the field trip, aren't they? I am buying tickets for everyone, aren't I? You may also add a positive tag when you are using a negative sentence, such as, Margaret's not working at IBM anymore, is she? Tom and Guy aren't going on the trek to South America, are they? As a rule, when the sentence is positive, the tag is negative. When the sentence is negative, the tag is positive. Examples for present progressive. Try to fill in the correct form of the present progressive as you see in the examples. The runners are approaching the finish line. The verb is approach. Are you preparing the contract for the client? The verb is prepare. We changed it to preparing. Joyce isn't playing in today's tournament. The verb is not play. We change it to is not playing. Okay, another example. The team members blank late to finish the bid. The verb is stay. So to correct the sentence, we say the team members aren't staying late to finish the bid. What blank Arnie blank over there? The verb is do. What is Arnie doing over there? Blank. You blank a big wedding, and the verb is plan. We say, are you planning a big wedding? Tim is helping you put the lights up, comma, blank, question mark. The verb is help. So we say, Tim is helping you put the lights up. Is he? The computers blank finally blank like they are supposed to. And the verb is run. So we say the computers are finally running like they are supposed to. Blank and blank in from New York tonight. And the verb is fly. We say, is Anne flying in from New York tonight? The customers aren't getting the price code this week, comma, blank, question mark. And the verb is get. So we say, the customers aren't getting the price code this week, comma, are they? Blank, Peter for a drink later. And the verb is meet. So we say, I am meeting Peter for a drink later. How much money blank they blank in the company? The verb is invest. How much money are they investing in the company? He blank to you. Not lie is the verb. He blank the truth. Tell is the verb. We change it to he is not lying to you. He is telling the truth. Example of the present progressive continuous. Examples in the positive form. We are discussing the project at the moment. Jim's leaving for Brussels this evening. Her husband is always complaining about his health. Contractions. I'm going to the store in about 10 minutes. It's raining cats and dogs. We're catching the 9 o'clock flight. Examples in the negative forms. I am not listening to you. Roger isn't eating with us tonight. The Smiths aren't going to France this year. They're going to Thailand. He's not coming with me dressed like that. Yes and no questions. Am I talking too much? Is that your dog barking? Are you participating in the competition next week? WH questions. Which route are you taking to the conference this week? Why is she bleeding? Who am I sending to the meeting? Tag questions. Terry is driving to the post office, isn't she? All the kids in the class are going on the field trip, aren't they? I'm buying tickets for everyone, aren't I? Latika's not working at IBM anymore, is she? Tom and Guy aren't going on the trek to South Africa, are they? Present perfect progressive tense. Time expressions in present perfect progressive continuous. We use since or ever since with a specific month, year, or a period in the past, such as I have been jogging in the park since 2002. He has been staring at the wall ever since he heard the news. We use for with a number of hours, days, months, years. She's been talking on the phone for 3 hours. The present perfect progressive continuous is actually easier to understand than the present perfect simple tense. It is used to describe an event that started in the past but is still happening in the present. That event in the present can be a habitual event, such as, I have been living in this house for 40 years. I started living in it 40 years ago and I'm still living in it today. Something that is taking place at this moment. Well, folks, thank you very much for watching my video. We'll see you next time.